What's happening, cinephiles? This is Dan.
This is Zach.
And we are the Feature Fellas.
Very nice.
Chucky. More like Shaggy, am I right? Man's been throwing that plastic about.
This week, we're looking at Seed of Chucky, released in 2004. 34% Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it's not the worst.
Not bad.
No,
I was expecting well worse when I googled it, so I was quite surprised.
Yeah.
4.9 on IMDb. Pretty much in the middle.
Yeah.
Good, not bad.
No, that's not bad.
And more surprisingly, 2.5 on Letterboxd. Yeah, right in the middle. Right in the middle.
Yeah.
I think this is one of those you either love it or hate it films.
Yeah, it's probably one of the better films we've covered.
Ooh.
Rating wise,
Yes.
as in like, you know,
Yes,
percentage wise,
yeah.
they're generally a lot less favorable.
9% and stuff. Yeah,
this feels more correct.
Yeah, 100%. This feels right.
Yeah,
100% feels right. So, yeah, this film is a real departure from the franchise.
Yeah.
Bride of Chucky before it was silly, but still a horror film at heart. It's a horror film with silly moments. This is a comedy film with horror aspects.
Yeah, 100%.
And I never really know how I feel about that as a whole, just because it's such a strange franchise to begin with. This franchise, if you know anything about this franchise, it goes all over the place.
Yeah.
But this is where it started going stupid.
It is stupid.
Yeah.
I think if you watched them, I think about a year or two ago, I watched them all in order, and I think hitting this film, I was like, oh.
It is like whiplash. It is a complete whiplash.
Yeah.
It is so weird. So yeah, it's really meta as well. There's a lot of stuff there's a lot of just in jokes and stuff like that. Obviously, as we cover it, we'll go into all that, but it is real meta. I think it was more meta than Scream was.
Probably,
Very meta. Some fun facts about this one. This is one of the only Child's Play films that doesn't use the good guy's voice. You never hear the good guy's voice in this film, which is
I didn't even think about that.
Really weird. This was the last Chucky film until the remake came along to be released theatrically.
Oh,
so there was 2 after this, no cinema release.
Wow.
And obviously now we're on the TV show.
Interesting.
Yeah, so this was the last Brad Dourif Chucky film to be released in cinema, which is sad. Very sad. And first film to be directed by the creator, Don Mancini.
Oh, really?
His directorial debut is Seed of Chucky.
Wow.
Yeah,
fascinating.
A real weird one to start with. And obviously this film takes place Los Angeles?
I believe so.
It's all shot in Romania.
Oh, nice.
Nice. There's like maybe 1 or 2 scenes that are shot in America.
Okay.
It's all Romania.
You wouldn't be able to tell it, to be
fair. And then all of Jennifer Tilly, because that's the character, all of Jennifer Tilly's clothes she wears, all hers.
Wow.
Safe budget, she wore her clothes, which I think
that.
I love it. I love knowing stuff like that, and I think with the Chucky franchise, it's a really like close knit family production. It always has been. There's always people that are related going forward. There are a lot more family members join the franchise, and I kind of love how communicative it is as a film
that's
franchise.
Sick, that is. I think the people who do this film love these films.
And Don Mancini, the creator, he loves this film specifically because this, if you didn't know,
his idea then, isn't it? It's probably his, when he thought that this was his, what he wanted it to be.
If you don't know, Don Mancini's gay. He's a gay man, and this film was a thing for him coming out. This is why he made it. So it was really important, really clever, and I love it. Yeah. So without further ado, let's get into this review.
Let's do this.
So film opens with like an animated intro, sperm cells.
Lovely cameo opening.
Yes, and
coming down the street.
Yeah, it is just.
And we've got sperm cells. Yeah. Very Son of the Mask.
I was going to say, not the first time we've covered animated sperm cells, which is absolutely hilarious, but I love it. Then we see the baby.
Yes.
And it says made in Japan on the arm. To begin with, you just know this one's going to be absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I know.
Kid's birthday. Mm-hmm. She gets a doll.
Yes.
And she goes, it's the ugliest doll I've ever seen in my life. No, we don't see it because it's from the POV.
So this is like the very typical Chucky thing, isn't it? Where we sort of have like the bird's eye view, the point of view shot of the position from Chucky. So at this point we're thinking, oh, it's a Chucky doll. Yeah. Well, obviously, at this point Chucky is mangled to pieces.
Yes, yeah.
He's been battered.
Burned, wasn't it? In Bride of Chucky?
He's burned, he's all scarred up and everything. So he's been chopped to pieces. So you kind of just think like, oh, it's Chucky. Yeah. Fair enough. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So we then see it the doll takes like a knife from the cake that was there.
Yeah.
And then we see this doll running around and we hear it laugh.
Yeah.
And you know that's not Chucky.
Yeah.
That is not Chucky's laugh. If you know anything about this
amazing.
franchise, you know his laugh, you know his
Yeah.
actor. That's not him.
No.
So we just get these random like shots of him running around the house, essentially.
Yeah,
And-
it's hilarious, isn't it? Because it's almost like a toddler. Obviously, yeah, this is kind of like a staple of the Chucky
Yes,
franchise.
yes.
Where you've got, like I said, the point of view shot. But it's like this sort of little toddler just sort of like right up the stairs, opens the door,
Yeah.
the mother's having a shower, very typical shower scene.
It's,
to start
the
us off.
first is the dad, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
So,
because
yeah.
the dad sees him, doesn't he?
So the
first?
doll goes upstairs.
Yeah.
Dad picks him up and says to the kid, "I've told you not to leave your toys hanging up." The British accents in this film, there's so many and they're so
Horrific,
bad.
yeah.
But he's like, "I've told you to stop leaving your toys on the floor," and then the doll, I won't spoil who it is, but just stabs him, and then he falls over the stairs.
Yeah, so I think. Oh yes, no,
He stabs
does,
him,
yeah.
and then he goes off
because
the
he
stairs.
picks him up, which is kind of weird, isn't it? Because there's a shot where he literally takes the doll into the room, and you're like, oh, okay, the kid's gonna see it.
Yeah.
But then he just stabs him, and the kid just doesn't seem to react.
No,
It's
I
a bit
know.
odd.
I know, it's so
It's an
funny.
amazing death because you see it like you're literally looking at the man, aren't you?
Yes.
So you see they go into his chest, and he falls through the banister down to the floor. Yeah,
It's
a
great. The
it's a
tracking
great
shot is awesome.
Yeah.
So then the doll goes back up the stairs,
Yeah.
and the mum is having a shower.
Yeah.
And then it's the Psycho reference, obviously.
Yeah, of course, the shower scene.
Yeah, but with a twist, he doesn't actually manage
No.
to kill her. She falls out of the shower, cracks her head, and then he
yeah.
starts laughing.
Yeah.
And again, it's very clearly not Chucky's laugh.
No.
Then the little girl finds him, and this is where he just starts pissing his pants.
Yeah, so he stabbed it, and he's put a doll in her own bed. So he stabs
Yes.
the doll, and then he sees it's not her, and the girl's just standing behind him. And then, so he just starts peeing, and she just goes, "You're pissing your pants."
But it's the
Pissing
accent.
your
You're
pants."
pissing your pants!
And now you're pissing your pants. You're pissing your pants. You're pissing.
It's the,
It's
the
awful.
British
It is
accent.
like it's typical, old school sort of British, like
It's like Mary Poppins,
Mary
yeah,
Poppins,
yeah.
like that sort of like, oh, you're
Yeah.
pissing your pants.
Yeah, it
It's
is so
It's so
bad.
bad, but hilarious.
I'll never forget seeing this as a kid and being terrified. I
Really?
was so scared, and I mean, I wasn't even that young because this is 2004. So yeah, I was pretty young. I never forget. I think my mum was watching it, and I just found it so scary. I had to leave. I was like, I can't watch this. I'm terrified.
Wow.
I grew up with the biggest fear of Chucky and Tiff ever.
Okay.
I hated them.
I guess it's probably because you have toys as a child, and
Exactly.
the thought of them coming to life and killing you is kind of terrifying.
But it's more the fact I didn't see Child's Play 1, I didn't see Child's Play 2, I saw Seed of Chucky and
Yeah.
went, no, this is too
I
scary
don't like
for me.
it. I mean, to be fair, I was terrified of Scream because it's a scary movie. So
Yeah, fair. But yeah, love this intro to the film.
brilliant.
It's really
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
It's
really good.
But then we do find out it's not real.
Yes.
This is a dream.
So yeah, we meet.
We meet was it Shithead, and the guy who runs him as a puppet is Sykes.
Oh,
Sykes and Shithead. That's their show.
Yes. So
And-
it's this. Oh, he's ugly, isn't he?
Yeah,
Bless
and
him.
the doll. I
The
think.
doll.
Yeah.
The doll is just like it is a weird.
So the first shot you see of him is him like getting out of bed and going "Ah!" like that, literally like over the top of Muppet
so
style
he's been-
scream.
Yeah, so this whole thing was a dream, and he's just this like. I mean, you can kind of see what they're going for, but it's odd, isn't it? It's really like he's like a little a small ill.
He looks like
version
an
of
old
Chucky.
Victorian child.
Yeah, he does.
And I think that was the aesthetic they were going for with the accent and whatnot.
Because you can kind of see, obviously, Seed of Chucky, but you can kind of see the Chucky influence.
No, you can, 100%.
But he does just look like a small, ill child version of Chucky.
Yeah, 100%.
It's weird.
And then before we get any further, I just want to say that the puppetry in this film is probably the best they've ever done.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Probably the best they've
you-
ever done.
You don't even think about it.
No,
Not once
it's
did I.
insane. We get some funny shots coming up, but the way they do it, the animatronics, the puppetry is amazingly
Really,
well done.
really, really good,
And the dolls in this film, they look incredible.
Oh, yeah.
I've been wanting replicas so bad.
Yeah.
Glenn specifically.
Yeah, cool.
I love him. I love him so much.
Yeah, it's good.
But yeah, he's a ventriloquist dummy for a man called Sykes, and his name is Shithead. Nothing else, just Shithead.
Just Shithead,
It's lovely, bless
Yeah.
him. Yeah, and he's a very ugly.
Yeah, so they kind of do the sideshow. Like, obviously, this Sykes has found him, realised he can talk, so the whole thing is like he's a ventriloquist doll.
But it does tie into Bride of Chucky, which is really weird because Sykes says he was in America and this
he found
shithead tried to kill him,
Yeah.
which is exactly what happens. But in Bride of Chucky, it's the police that find him and he bites their nose, and that's the end.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's made a backstory or if he's.
Yeah, I'm guessing like he would probably like escape the police, and then Sykes would have come across him or something along those lines. But yes, they've got like a whole sort of act going on.
Yes.
But Glenn is just a really wholesome British boy. I mean, thankfully he is a British actor, which
Yes,
kind
Billy
of
Boyd.
helps. But yeah, he's just really wholesome. He's like a bit. He's got like a little fly in him, and he's like, oh, hello, little fella.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, you're hearing his inner thoughts, and he's like, oh, there he is, I wouldn't hurt a fly. Oh,
Yeah,
there he
because
is.
doesn't Sykes put something in his cage after the show
Yeah,
to make him more violent,
rat,
isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to be.
No, and he's just like, oh, you're a cute little fella.
Yeah.
And starts stroking the rat and all that. He's just a really wholesome kid.
He then starts thinking about his parents and where he came from. He's got the Made in Japan thing on his arm.
Yeah.
I don't know why that becomes such a prominent part of this film.
So funny, though.
It gets wild later, but
the way it's used is actually kind of genius.
no, it is. I completely agree.
Really
and I think that's the biggest thing with this film. A lot of it is genius,
Yeah,
but
it
it
is,
was
yeah.
so hidden in all this ridiculousness. But yeah, he thinks about his mum, and then we cut to Santa.
Yeah.
Santa
I
Claus.
know the actor. I can't think who he is,
Well,
though.
behind the scenes, this is the only film he regrets doing. Hates it.
Really?
Absolutely. I don't know
Who is he,
why.
though? What's he from? I know
He's from
him.
like, I think it's Primeval, something really weird like that.
Yeah, no, I've definitely seen him in something, so I recognise the
Yeah.
actor, but
But it's kind of saddened me when I read that he hated doing this film and he regrets this film specifically. I understand it's stupid, but
yeah,
it's
but
such a fun franchise.
Yeah, and it's literally like a 2-minute cameo.
I'd give anything to be part of this franchise.
Yeah,
It's literally
100%.
great.
So yeah, we cut to him as Santa. So it's not, obviously it's not the real Santa, but it's
No.
sort of like, yeah. So he's going along.
The phone call he's having
The
is
phone call
incredible.
is
Where
hilarious.
she's, what does he say? No, you're not breaking up. You're not breaking up. Oh, you're breaking up with me.
Yeah, so
good.
stupid. So yeah, his girlfriend's breaking up with him. He's like, on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Oh. So he's dressed as Santa on Christmas Eve. I don't know if it's supposed to be like Santa.
Yeah, I don't know what the context
So
is.
yeah, so basically we have this. All of a sudden you hear like the cut. They've opened up his sack. And it's kind of, the presents have kind of gone everywhere.
Yeah.
He turns around and then
Yeah.
there he is.
Yeah,
Our
no,
main man.
isn't it Tiff we see first?
Was it Tiff?
I think it's Tiff
thought
we
it
see
was- I thought
first.
it was Chucky on the.
Oh,
I thought they was.
Oh
Chucky
yeah, you
on-
might be right.
I think Chucky's on the tombstone because you basically he's in a graveyard.
Yeah.
He sees Chucky because obviously all his toys are, so he just assumes it's a Chucky
Yes.
toy.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Chucky's on the tombstone.
I think it is. Yeah.
And then he sort of approaches him, and then you can see. It's a lovely shot though,
Mm.
where you see into Chucky's eye, and then you can see the reflection of Tiff
You're absolutely correct.
behind.
Yeah.
Behind him.
Yeah. So they take him
And then-
down
yeah.
and they stab him
Yeah.
to
They
death.
they kill him.
And it's amazing though because Chucky's stabbing him and he's saying, "Can with your mind," and he just keeps saying it and he says it over and over and over again. Turns out this is a film set.
Film set.
Not
yeah.
real. Chucky and Tiff have been turned into animatronics.
Yeah, so I think after Bride of Chucky, because obviously at this point they've gone,
Yeah.
entirely across America.
Yeah.
So they've become infamous now, haven't they?
Yeah.
So this whole sort of story of like these dolls that come to life and kill people. Everyone's like sort of running with it now. So yeah, this was animatronics, which it is kind of hilarious when you see them because you can kind of see that they're the dolls, and then when they change to the animatronics, they've got these big things out their back. And
No, this is really clever because they clearly use this behind the scenes
Yeah.
for real for these films. So it was a really meta but clever way to do this, which is saving time for them.
Yeah.
Of going, this is how we do them.
Yeah.
It was really cool. But yeah, so they start glitching out. It's a film, and then it's a film called Chucky Goes Psycho,
Oh, okay.
which is a reference to Psycho,
Yeah,
obviously.
yes, obviously.
But yeah, and then we get, in this scene, there is a cameo from the puppeteer, the original creator of Chucky, Tony
Really?
Gardner.
Oh,
He is the guy, you know, I think he touches Tiff and she like grabs his.
Oh yeah,
That's him. That's Tony Gardner, which is really cool.
That's hilarious.
We see Jennifer Tilly, who is playing Jennifer Tilly in
Yes.
this film, which is so funny.
This is when it gets like really.
Yeah, because
meta,
obviously
isn't
she
it?
was Tiffany Valentine in Bride of
Yeah.
Chucky,
Yeah.
who turned into doll Tiffany, yes,
Yeah.
but now she is playing
Jennifer
Tilly in this film,
in this
which
film.
is so
Yeah,
weird.
she is Jennifer Tilly and Tiff
Yes.
at the same time.
Yeah, so she is there's a lot of backstory of this film where she's on a diet the whole time because
Yeah.
Jennifer Tilly is fat, which she's very
Yeah,
clearly
no,
not.
no,
but
she's not
yes,
that.
that's the whole joke.
Yeah.
And then she's like trying to eat a chocolate bar or something, and then she's saying about her weight, and she's like crying about it, and then the guy controlling Chucky just goes, "Nice tits."
Amazing.
That's bloody
She just
brilliant.
goes, "Thanks."
Yeah, no, it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
Yeah, the cast of this film at this point is crazy. So we get a reference to Redman from Wu-Tang Clan. We've got Jennifer Tilly. We've got Tony Gardner in there. We've just got crazy people throughout. It
Yeah,
is.
no, it isn't. It's mad.
So we find out Redman's making a film about the Virgin Mary,
Yes.
which is super weird, and he thinks that is a perfect... No, Jennifer Tilly thinks that's a perfect role for her.
Yeah, so I think she's getting typecast as the sort of slutty woman, isn't she? Like she's a sort of she's getting typecast as that, and she wants a complete change. So, yeah,
Which is
but-
obviously, again, a reference to Bride of Chucky, which is how she was dressed in that film,
Yes,
which is very
yes,
clearly
yes,
a reference.
yes,
Yeah. And then, so she hopes to talk to Redman about this role, because she keeps losing roles to
Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts, which is so weird. Like,
Yeah.
such a weird name
She's
drop.
referenced like quite a lot in the start, isn't she, Julia Roberts?
Yeah,
It's
she keeps losing roles to it. It's so weird.
Yeah,
We see that Tiffany and Chucky are getting an interview for this film. They're like getting interviewed as cast members.
So they're still animatronics at this point.
Yeah, so at this point they're not alive.
No, because they're still dead from the previous
Yeah, they are just
dead.
puppets. They haven't been killing anyone in the meantime. They are literally just puppets. And they're getting interviewed, and then they kind of close out the interview, and Chucky says, "Fuck you very much." It's great. I love it. So we then see that Chucky now has a Made in Japan stamp.
Yeah, so well, these are the toys, though. If you think of it that way, like these are animatronics that were made. This isn't Chucky. This is a literal toy at this point. So yeah, he has the Made in Japan thing, and then we sort of cut to Glenn, who's watching this on TV.
Yes,
and he realizes they both have the Made in Japan thing, and he's like, That's my father.
That's my parents.
They're my parents.
Yeah.
So
he plans to go to America because he's in England right now. So he plans to go to America to find them. Yeah. And this is the bit where he like escapes Sykes. It is bloody brilliant. So he's like, him and Sykes get into this bit of an argument thing, and he like runs away. He gets out of the cage and runs away. The run is the best thing I've ever seen in my life because it's clearly CGI incorporated with the real puppet, and he's swinging. He looks like the Flash from the new film.
He's like Tom Cruise running.
Yeah, and I mean his legs are moving barely.
He's in the air. He's floating. He's basically floating, just like arms going, legs going. It is
amazing. Then we get that like kind of generic map shot of going from UK to America.
So somehow he manages just to get on a train, it's not even a plane, and ends up flying over to
I didn't even think of that. What I thought of is the fact that he ends up exactly where Chucky and Tiffany are. That's my favourite thing ever. But it's really weird. So it turns out, we're in Hollywood for the majority of this film, which was actually filmed in Romania, not nowhere to be seen in America. They couldn't afford the budget. So Jennifer Tilly's auditioning for the Virgin Mary in Redman's film at this point. Redman is very distracted, shall we say, through this whole bit because Jennifer Tilly is not the most subtle of women. No, she's definitely playing up, isn't she? Yes. She's definitely it's very much like probably a bit of a thing on Hollywood in general, sort of being like the women are getting rolled by doing favours for the men, which is basically kind of what's insinuated, isn't it? So she's trying to get the role. He does again. He's like, I'm going to give the role to Julia Roberts, and it's quite thin because Jennifer Tilly's trying to actually approach this role as an actress, which is good. Yeah. Then when he says that, she then starts to be like, "Well, if you come over to my house tonight, 8 o'clock, blah blah blah." Yeah. But my favourite line from this whole scene is where she goes, "Thank you, Mr. Man. May I call you Red?" Jennifer Tilly in this role is brilliant. I love her. Good, I feel like though this was for as crazy as this film is, this was the last time she was really grounded in this franchise. Oh, really? Because anything past this, she's a cartoon. Especially in the TV show. I don't like what they've done with her, but she is all over the place. But obviously, following on from this film, it still carries on. Do you know what I mean?
Fair.
So Redman says she does well, but he's going to go with Julia Roberts. We covered that. And then, she invites him over to her house then tonight, 8 o'clock. Yes. That's it. And it's obviously insinuated she's going to sleep with him for the role. Yes. So Shithead has now arrived in the US.
Yes.
And he is such a little baby boy to be scared of everything. No, he is. He's in the effects places, isn't he? And there's like a Frankenstein and stuff like that. Yeah, so there's like different
monsters. He's sort of like underground of where they were actually shooting the whole Chucky bits. And there's sort of like a wolf, there's like a vampire Frankenstein sort of thing, and he's just like, ooh. But then he's like, it's really funny because he's like, and he's like, hello there, sir. How are you? Like trying to be awesome to these puppets. He's such a cute little boy.
So that's kind of another thing I want to talk about. How do you feel about the character at this point? Because I love this character.
I think it's I think initially I remember watching this being like, what the hell?
100%. When I watched this for the first time, I was like, no.
I think the first time, especially going from the Chucky, watching the rest of the Chucky franchise at this point, I was like, I don't know about this, but I think now I've like rewatched it. I'm like, no, I think it works perfectly, especially 100%. Being like so opposite. The fact that he's like British.
And you've got Chucky and Tiffany who are very American, very violent, very cold-blooded, and then you've got little shithead who's just lovely,
wholesome little boy.
No, I think he's a great character, and going forward, I think he's very important as well. Going forward, it is a great character.
You love him.
So he finds Chucky and Tiffany straight away. Like I have no idea how he gets to this place specifically.
No, he sort of ends up on the set and then just finds them.
How on earth did he do that? Incredible.
I mean, it's easier than sort of having to explain.
This bit kind of annoys me. I don't mind it so much now, but it's the fact that he has the amulet of Damballa straight away. Just has it on him.
It's never explained, is it?
Never explained.
Oh, does he?
He has it on him.
Yeah,
He just pulls out his pocketbook.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, if it was there in the previous film where he was left with him.
No, because in the previous film, again, we don't really see what happens with it. It just kind of goes flying, and they don't get resurrected.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden he's got it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I would assume that it was used to bring him to life.
Yeah, but the weird part is, if you follow him from Bride of Chucky canon, he's alive.
Yeah,
he's just the baby that gets born as Tiff dies.
Yeah, no, he does. Yeah.
So I don't know. And the fact that he's just got this bit annoys me. I don't know why. It just really stresses me out. Yeah, and that was just randomly introduced into Bride of Chucky. Anyway, it was never a thing until Bride of Chucky, and then it's really important going forward. It kind of annoys me. Yeah, and if you didn't know by now, I think I already mentioned it. Shithead is played by Billy Boyd, who is Pippin from Lord of the Rings. He's one of those two. He's one of those two. I think
so.
Yes.
So
he's one of them. So he used the amulet to bring back Chucky and Tiffany.
Yeah, she's a bit confused. Like, what's going on? And then he just literally picks it up, does the words, and it just comes up.
How does he know that? I didn't even think.
He just goes, I know. And it just reads it, and it happens to bring.
It must be inscripted on the thing.
So it brings him straight to life.
But yeah, so we get Chucky and Tiffany for the first time. They kind of wake up. They're kind of like, where are we? What's going on? You know, and the design of the dolls here is
amazing,
top notch. Some of the best thing they've ever done. I think Tiffany looks incredible as well.
Yeah,
and I think Chucky just looks fantastic.
Oh, amazing! Yeah, this is probably the best one so far. Version of Chucky, I think. Anyway, I don't know if it's the same one going forward. I'm assuming so.
Yeah,
it's all like the scarred up sort of.
In the film after, have you seen the films after this? Curse of Chucky, Cult of Chucky.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you remember in Curse of Chucky, he's back to no scars.
Oh yes, he is.
Love that one, perfect.
Yeah, see, this is my favourite, all scarred up.
Oh yeah, no, you can't beat the scarred up look, but they look amazing.
No, they do really, really good.
Yeah,
I love the fact though that he starts and the first thing, because obviously the whole Major Pan just goes,
Konnichiwa. Yeah, right. This is another running joke that, for me, does not work.
I love it.
I hate it.
I love it.
It's the part where he just randomly starts speaking Japanese.
I love it though, because I think it's just really, it just works for me. It just works for Glenn because he's just
silly.
Yeah, he's so silly, and I think he just doesn't understand really what's going on because he's never really been. You know, it's almost like he's been dragged up, really, hasn't he? Like he hasn't had an upbringing, so he doesn't really understand it. So when he sees the Made in Japan thing, he never in his brain. He's barely got a brain, but you know what I mean. In his brain, he never understands the fact that they're not Japanese. Yeah. So he keeps the fact that he keeps going back to it. Just goes konnichiwa. I don't know. I think he says mum and dad, but in Japanese.
Yes. Yeah.
And they both just look at him like. Huh?
Yeah, it is so.
I love it.
It is so bizarre.
I hate it, but
they just reference it, and when it was this time I was watching, I was like, why is this joke? So and it's not only once; it's like 4 times. And I'm like, pack it in.
Back, it's amazing.
So yeah, Chucky and Tiffany wake up. They're kind of shocked, and then they see Shithead, and then they say,
"What's your name?"
Shitface.
Yeah, and then they talk about how ugly Glenn is, which is kind of sad. But Chucky's line here is brilliant. Yeah. Well, come on, it looks like the kid fell off the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down.
Such a typical line.
Yeah, no, they keep Chucky so perfectly from Bride of Chucky in this one.
And it's kind of funny how he almost goes into dad role.
Straight away.
It's like it's real dad jokes and stuff.
Yeah, paternal, like it is wild.
It's kind of funny, isn't it? How he's like, you know, obviously we get more into it, like, but he's never really like he kind of just goes straight into the father figure.
Yeah.
Quite comfortably.
Yeah.
It works instantly.
No, it does. And I think the best aspect of this film is the family aspect, which is so weird for a Chucky film.
Yeah.
But they make it work, and it is really good.
So she's just trying to always sort of be like, oh, come on, Chucky, he's okay.
Yeah.
Look at him, you know, he's a bit different, but he's a beautiful boy.
Yeah, this
Girl.
is
So this is the first time where it's sort of referenced what is Glenn.
Oh, are we announced that his name is Glenn here? No.
Well, I've announced it now.
Spoiler alert.
Glenn.
It's Glenn. Well, yeah, we'll get into it. But yes.
So sorry.
That's fine.
Spoiler. But yeah, so this is the first time it's sort of referenced as to what is Glenn, because Chucky wants him to be a boy.
Yes, and from Bride of Chucky, Chucky is anatomically correct.
Yes, he is.
Which is a very funny thing, yes. But yeah, so is Tiff.
And then so Tiff is a girl, and she wants him to be a girl, or them to be a girl.
Yes.
So yes, this is the first time. Which, I mean, when was this?
2004.
2004.
This
is 20 years old, and they're referencing.
Now think of it this way, right? This came out in 2004. People went to the cinema to watch this. They saw this and they went, "What is this?" Look how far we've come. Look how important it is now.
Crazy.
You watch this film now, and I think this can connect to a lot more people now,
100%.
because this is where we're at, and I think it's such a good thing to have in your film. And I think the Chucky franchise has always been forward-coming with stuff like this, and they're still doing it today with the TV show and stuff. They're still doing it, but this is peak
mad
Chucky. What they're doing, it's brilliant.
It is mad how far ahead of its time it is.
Absolutely
it's
amazing.
Insane.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not just a one-off joke.
No.
It's a whole story, and I know I keep referencing it, but in the TV show, they're still following this storyline. It's still there, which I think is really good.
Yeah.
It is brilliant. So we get the puppeteer special effects guy come in.
Yes.
And it's Tony Gardner, the guy who does everything, which is cool. I love that. And I can't remember what he's doing in this, but he's coming to find something. Is he looking for the Chucky and Tiff dolls?
I think so. I think he's sort of just coming in. Yeah, I'm assuming they're going to... He needs to fix one, doesn't he? Tiff's broken.
Or was it Chucky that was broken from stabbing?
But he's working on Tiff.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, so I can't remember because I think isn't Tiff the one that ends up grabbing his balls?
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I think he's working on Tiff to fix her because
because it's a bit of a reference to the first one where he's opening the battery compartment. That's what he's trying to do because they're hiding.
Yeah, so they've kind of like pretended to like sort of plug themselves back in. He's unplugged them, and now he's going to work on Tiff because she's broken.
Yes.
So
he does that. Chucky, I think it's Chucky that has him then.
So he does the old open the back. Turns out she's actually got a spine and a heart, and like she's got internal organs again now. And then we get the shot then of Chucky. He's
behind her with the wire. Behind him, with the wire. Chucks it round his neck,
and they get a side each.
They both pull it, and they just pull together. Love this scene because the head goes up. Yeah. What a great kill for the puppeteer as well.
And this is the first official kill.
This is the first real kill of the film.
Which I kind of like the fact that we started with so many deaths without being legitimate kills.
I mean, this again was very forthcoming because Scream copied that. A lot of things start copying that. But this kill's amazing. The head goes flying into the air. There's blood everywhere, and then there's like romantic music playing as Chuck and Tiff kind of kiss each other and stuff because it's their thing.
Start necking, and it's all like they're just covered in blood. There's just blood raining down on them.
Yeah, and then you see Glenn in the background.
Glenn's just absolutely terrified of them. Bless him.
So Glenn pisses his pants again.
Yeah, he pisses his pants again. So he pisses his pants quite a lot throughout this film.
Yes,
and then so we get the more pissing, and now we get to what is Glenn.
What is Glenn?
Damn. Is that an award ceremony here coming?
I think it might be.
And the award for greatest moment in Seed of Chucky goes to...
See? What I tell you? A beautiful little girl.
What? Are you blind? That's my boy. Yeah. He just hasn't his growth spurt yet.
I'd like to thank...
Yeah, we then see Jennifer Tilly come back into like the effects area because it turns out she's hidden a candy bar in Chucky's little overalls.
I think she was eating the early one, and then she got caught, and then she was like, "Ooh, no."
Yeah. So she hides it in his overalls. She comes back to get it, and then Tiff sees Jennifer Tilly. Now, this is so meta, obviously, because it's the same person.
Yeah, and they sort of like she just falls in love
loves her. Yeah, that's because obviously a big part of this film is Chucky, Tiff are trying to find bodies to live in.
Yeah.
This is what they're doing. So Tiff finds Jennifer Tilly, and that's her. That's who she wants.
Yeah.
So she loves her instantly.
Yeah.
It's a really great scene. I love it. Jennifer Tilly, for real, picks up the head and starts like talking to it, and I think she kisses him. It's so weird. Yeah. It kind of reminds me of Tropic Thunder. He picks up the head. It's very similar. She's like playing around with the head, and then she realizes,
"Oh my god, these effects are so good!" And then kisses it, and then realizes, and then we sort of like just cut to. It's kind of nice bit, isn't it? Where we cut to like obviously there's been a murder on set. There's been a death. I mean, it's obviously a murder. His head's going to be decapitated. Yes. But so then we get to like the outside, and she's getting like bombarded by paparazzi, which is very like Hollywood, isn't it? Where they sort of like something's happened, and they're just like, and like, I think even then though they're sort of like, are you going to lose weight? Then like they bring enough weight issues.
Yeah, because John Waters, really iconic actor from back in, they create it very forward ahead of his time as well. He has a cameo here as Peter Peters. Is it Peter Peters? I think it is. And he's the one who's like, have you lost weight yet?
Yeah, I know. There's so many references to weight and stuff. But this is the hilarious thing, is the fact that this has happened, and again, so Hollywood, where they they're barely speaking about the fact that
It's
someone's
murder,
died.
yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah,
just
someone's
like
dead.
it's just like, so your career's tanking. What are you gonna do now? Like, where are you gonna go from here? Have you lost weight? Like, just come up with these stupid questions when someone's been killed.
Yeah.
It's just No,
I know, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
We then cut to Jennifer's taxi driver. Now, this is a super strange character. Because he's like barely in this film.
Yeah,
but
he's also a big part of it.
In the end, he's like one of the biggest parts. But I never know if I like him or not, because he's in the car, and it's my favourite line though. He's just like this. This is him. Jennifer, I love you. Jennifer, I love you.
Yeah.
He's practicing on how he's going to tell her he's in love with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's in love with it. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Super cringy acting, but absolutely makes this whole film. She gets in the taxi, and then they start kissing. So I was like,
yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's sort of like the relationship is that I think they've never had sex, have they? They never slept together.
No,
is the insinuation like? But I'm pretty sure she does confirm it later. They've never slept together.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's sort of like a weird romance thing going on where they sort of kiss now and then, and they're sort of like together but not really together.
It's really weird.
Yeah, it's just kind of, it's there in the background until the end, basically.
Yeah, because then she's on the phone to Joan, her assistant, and she's like, oh yeah, Redman's coming over tonight, 8 p.m. And the guy's like looking at her, and she's like, yeah, it's just for the acting role.
Yeah. Yeah, and Joan, the assistant, turned out to be Hannah from S Club 7.
Which I had absolutely no idea.
Probably her only role.
That is such a strange...
fascinating choice. I mean, she's pretty good.
To be fair, you wouldn't. I said I didn't even realise.
Yeah,
so she's convincing enough.
Yeah, it's really odd. I remember seeing this the first time, just being like, "What the hell is?"
I said the only thing I don't understand about this film, well, one of the only films, why all the British accents are so British. Because even she's like, "Oh, Jennifer," and she's like so British.
Yeah,
I don't know if
British.
She's putting more emphasis on it.
Yeah,
sure.
she is. She's definitely emphasising it, but she is actually British. But yeah, I don't understand why they've been so over the top with it.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah.
So in this taxi we have Chucky, Tiff, Glenn / Glenda.
Yes.
In the back of this taxi, sitting there like humans.
Yeah.
As if the taxi driver doesn't have a mirror here where he can see it.
But
they never see it.
Yeah, I think the whole point is that he's distracted by her.
Yes.
She's distracted by Redman, so they kind of just, or Redman.
But
so they just kind of ignore it.
And like Chucky's
and they end up like pulling up they press the button so the window goes up, like the window so you can see into the back, and still ignore it all.
And that's what I mean, like Chucky's drinking the champagne which he then passes to Jennifer Tilly, and then it's empty, and she's like, what? But it's at this point where I was watching it and I was like, this is not a horror anymore. This is not a horror film. This is a comedy film.
It's a little family adventure.
And honestly, it's, although there's shock moments in it, it's not as extreme as any of the other ones. It's really weird. Very odd. But yeah, the script it's terrible, but so enjoyably bad. It's one of those. I think
100%.
for what we try to do on this show here, this is a perfect candidate.
100%. Yeah.
So yeah, Tiff is still like starstruck. That's the word. That Jennifer's playing her in the film.
Yeah.
Which is great.
I love the fact that they, as you said, like they're the same person, and like Tiff is just so in love with herself, basically.
Yeah,
but
I think
it's a real meta look on things, but it works really well.
And I mean, like, Jennifer Tilly gets so much more meta in this film as it goes along. There's some of my favourite jokes come towards the last bit. So yeah, Tiff is going to be Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah.
And Chucky's going to be Redman, which is my favourite thing ever. I love it.
No, the thought of Chucky as Redman.
Just the voice coming out of Redman would be the funniest thing in the world.
Like, imagine him rapping.
Yeah. Imagine him as the Wu-Tang Clan. So yeah, Jennifer's assistant Joan she's like responding to fan mail for Jennifer. I'm assuming people are sending mail and she's the one responding. It's not Jennifer. Yeah, and then obviously Jennifer Tilly's on the phone talking about the murder.
Yeah.
The champagne, we've seen that. And yeah, Tiffany gets fuming that Jennifer Tilly is sleeping with Redman for the role.
Yeah, so she wants her to have respect, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Like, Tiff wants Jennifer to have respect for herself and sort of like earn stuff rather than just being like,
sleeping for the role.
Yeah,
Tiffany has morals.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, as much as she's a murdering psychopath doll, she also has morals.
Yeah,
she is committed to one man Chucky.
Yeah, we're one man Chucky. Yeah, he's great. I love it.
You've got to kind of respect him. She hasn't got a great choice.
It was that guy in the first film, if you remember, her boyfriend when she was actual Tiffany Valentine, and he's just like this emo guy. It's bloody amazing. Gross. Yes. Anyway, so Glenn / Glenda asks why Chucky and Tiff kill people.
Yeah.
And Chucky says that Glenn/Glenda will be a killer because that's what the family
Which
is.
what they do. It's almost like they're basically saying it's the family business.
Yeah, so this is the bit where Glenn's in bed. But violence is bad.
Not violence. Violins. Violins are bad. That goddamn screechy music is going to ruin this country.
Yeah, they basically come to a decision where they both go, right, for the better of our child, we are parents now, we must be responsible, we will quit killing.
Yes, because Tiffany calls Chucky a killing addiction. Has a killing addiction.
So this is kind of like the next bit of it where we're dealing with addiction.
Yeah, so that's another thing I wrote down. This film tackles so many genuine issues: addiction, gender identity.
But does it in like a smart, funny way? Like, do you know what I mean? Because obviously it's murder addiction.
I genuinely think if this film released today, it would get
100%.
praise on praise. Maybe not for the actual film, but more for the important aspect. It's very good. So yeah, the addiction like storyline starts from here. And Tiff says they're going to quit killing. Chucky doesn't want to, but he agrees basically to shut her up.
Because he's got his fingers crossed, hasn't he?
Behind his back, he's got his fingers crossed. So Redman arrives at because they're in Jennifer Tilly's attic.
Yeah, so they've gone. Yeah, so obviously
how the hell did they get in there?
I don't know. So they've obviously. I mean, no one notes them.
No one. They're invisible.
Yeah, they are invisible. So yeah, they managed to obviously get in the house, get into her attic, and yeah. She is now having Redman over. I love the line. There's a line, I think, because so at the moment, Joan is in the house. And she's like prostituting herself to play the Virgin Mary. Yeah. Which is such a good line.
It is great.
Because it's just, it is hilarious.
No, it is.
So yeah, she's trying to set up, like, Jennifer Tilly's trying to be all like, let's get things ready for
a night of hiring. Yeah, so I think she fires Joan in this part, doesn't she? Because Joan calls her disgusting. And she's like, if I'm so disgusting.
Yeah, and then she said, well, just don't come back.
Yeah, so she essentially fires her. Let's just talk about this whole scene now, because this is Chucky in the bathroom. Yeah, so basically what's going to happen here is they need a child for Glenn to transfer the soul into. Yes. This is what we need. So, you need to make a baby here. Yes. And we find out that doing Chucky and Tiffany stuff is voodoo accelerated. Yes. So we need Chucky's sperm. So Chucky has sperm.
Chucky has sperm.
Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah. This whole scene is bonkers.
Yep. It's I don't even know.
I love the whole part though. Like all of this added up as a scene is comedy gold.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Like so they basically plan on inseminating Jennifer Tilly with Chucky's sperm. So yeah, as we said, Tiff wants to be Jennifer.
Yeah.
Chucky wants to be Redman.
Yeah.
And then they're going to
have a baby
that'll end up being Glenn/Glenda. Yeah. I mean, it's fascinating.
It's everything in this scene. It's where we get Chucky says to Tiff, "Hey, our little sister's here," and then she falls down the top. She has. We do get the very similar to Howard the Duck. I was like, "What's
remarkably
this?" It's where, and then my favorite joke of this whole bit is when he's going through the magazines and it's like all these girls and it's like Playboy and Fangoria, which is bloody brilliant. It's all like violence, and he's like, "Ooh."
Because he comes across maybe like Pam and somebody's like, "Pam, done that."
Yes, it is someone. I didn't write down who it was,
but yeah, there's definitely like somebody comes across who's like, "Yeah, seen that, done that."
Yeah.
And then he just comes across like some like horror.
So Fangoria is a really big horror staple. It does award shows. It has a YouTube channel. It's got a whole show. They produce films. So it's a really big thing. So when I saw it this time, I was like, "Oh, it's brilliant." That's amazing. So we see Joan, the assistant, leave in her car. Chucky's gearing up. Yeah. She leaves. John Waters, Peter Peters, comes into the house. So paparazzi.
He's trying to get photos of. So he's aware of the whole Jennifer Tilly thing. Yeah. He's taking photos, realises that Redman is also there. And then, so he's going to try and sneak in to get photos of them doing stuff.
So he starts taking pictures of them. But in the meantime, Tiffany has drugged champagne.
Yeah, so Tiffany's trying to... So they're basically going to drug them both. They're going to knock them both out and then, like, inseminate her, like, take her... And then I think they plan on taking over the bodies once the babies, so they're going to hopefully keep them together, knock them both out. They're going to think then they slept together and that they had sex, and that's how she's pregnant now with Redman's kid. Yep. And then they'll basically, like, at a later date once the baby's born, take the baby, take over everybody and live like that. Yeah.
So in this scene, obviously we've got Redman talking about how his favourite Jennifer Tilly film, I don't know if you know anything about the film Bound.
No.
So the film Bound comes up in anytime Jennifer Tilly's in a Chucky product, Bound comes up because it's a big scene in Bound.
Woman?
Not only kisses, she goes full on with this girl, and it was a big moment back. I think it was the 80s.
Oh wow!
But they've never let this reference die. Never.
Yeah.
And in the TV show now, it's Gina Gershon, who is the other one in Bound. In the scene, she's in it.
Okay.
And it is the way they've done it is so good. But I think it
great.
gets referenced in Bride of Chucky and then one of the future films as well. They just never let it go.
Yeah, no, it is hilarious because she's probably like, oh yeah, the one where I'm kissing a girl. Yeah, everyone likes that one.
Literally.
Yeah.
And then so I think Jennifer Tilly says that her and Gina could probably get together with Redman and having that. And Redman goes, I would like that a lot.
Yeah.
Redman's funny in this film.
Funny,
considering he's not like an actor, he's funny in this
it's
film.
hilarious seeing them together. Like I think they have quite good chemistry as well together, don't they?
They
it's
do.
Like he's sort of very much there, like, you know, she's sort of trying to speak to him. He's not really listening, and then she kind of clicks on that he's just basically staring at her boobs the entire time. So he kind of clicks onto it, and then she ends up sort of being like going, as you said, like she's on about the film, and then she starts going, oh yeah, we're still friends.
I could set that up,
really good friends. Maybe I can get her over you. And she keeps going and going. You can see his eyes like light up more and more, like where he's just like a horny man, like that just wants one thing.
He is very funny. My favourite play too. So Peter Peters is outside and he's taking pictures because Jennifer Tilly and Redman stop making out, whatever. Yes. He's taking pictures, and then you just zoom upstairs, and upstairs, obviously, you get.
Well, it is Chucky. And he is masturbating.
Yes. The sex scene in Bride of Chucky is pretty extreme.
Yes.
I'll never get watching that film for the first time. I think I watched it with my brother for the first time when I was younger, and I was like, this is weird. I always thought that would be the most extreme thing they do with like sexual stuff, but no, this takes it. This is
wow.
Yeah. And
so
he's watching him and he goes, "Get him, mini meat."
Well, that's the thing, because he basically brings up dwarves at this point. He's like, oh my god, obviously in his mind now, he's seen Redman's over, Jennifer Tilly's there, they're like sleeping together. There's a dwarf upstairs, who's masturbating. And then he looks in and sees another little person behind them as well. So in his mind, he's just seeing this almost mad orgy.
And he says the best line I've ever heard in my life: God bless the little people. Man, I love this scene so much.
I mean, looking at it from an outsider's point of view, it does look absolute chaos. It's like this really weird orgy going on in Jennifer Tilly's house. And then he runs.
And
I think Chucky catches him, doesn't he? So he sees him speeding off. So he goes, and then Chucky sort of sees him.
Yeah. And then we get Tiffany knocking Redman out with an award that has like a hanger on it. I don't know what that award is. I don't know what it is.
It's hilarious though, isn't it? Because it's like, it's a really pathetic award. And obviously it's a dog.
It's like a square with a hanger on it.
And hits him and just knocks him out cold, and then Jennifer sees Tiff.
She like they like reveal each other to each other, which is really good. And then Jennifer runs away. She runs into Chucky holding a cup of his spit.
Oh, this best.
What do I do with this?
What am I supposed to do with this? Just holding this.
And she turns around and screams the other way. This whole scene is absolute comedy gold. She slips and then Tiff knocks her.
I think does she knock herself out?
No, she falls and then Tiff knocks her out with the award again.
Okay,
that award comes back.
Yeah, so they both out cold. So they wanted to drug him. They did end up drinking because they tried like
Yes.
She's knocked them both.
You see then Chucky and Tiff dragging their bodies. This scene's brilliant though because again it's people.
Yeah.
This is people, not dolls. You can clearly see it. And she goes, Tiffany's pulling her. She goes, she's fat. I don't know whose idea it was to say that Jennifer Tilly is so fat. I want to say it was Jennifer Tilly's idea.
Yeah, I would assume so, and I think especially for the time, it was so like, you know, it was around this time where everyone was like size zeros.
Yes,
were a thing. Do you know what I mean? Around this era,
and I don't actually know how relevant Jennifer Tilly was at this point.
I don't know.
Outside
I only
of
really
Chucky.
know her from this.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I've seen her. I've seen her in things like, but it's like from memory wise, is all I remember from is this. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, she is. She is. Yeah. But yeah, this was definitely around the time where Hollywood was skinny. Yeah. The whole thing was you wanted to be. I mean, not even skinny. It's like it's
scary
bad.
Small. Yeah.
To be a size 0 was like the thing.
The in thing.
So anyone that was a size 8 above was called fat, basically, wasn't it? It was mad.
That scene is amazing. I love the meta-ness of Tiffany calling Jennifer Tilly fat. Yeah. Hilarious. And then at this bit I kind of hate, it's obviously part of the story, but it's kind of gross, where you see Jennifer Tilly knocked out and then they use the turkey baster to inseminate her. You don't see it, but it's kind of gross. I kind of don't like it.
Yeah, it's needed. Unfortunately,
yeah,
and again, they don't really go into too much detail. I think it's done well enough.
I think it's more the fact that you see Jennifer Tilly's legs over the bed.
It's not a great look, but I think you kind of, it's part of the story, unfortunately. So it's kind of like they done it as classy as they could.
Yeah, it's not offensive, but it's just kind of
it's not like you see them. You know what I mean? It's just you can see what's happening. You see the beam, and you're like, okay, I see what's going on. Yeah, it's weird.
It is weird, but needed for the plot.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So we see Glenn/Glenda is having nightmares. Yes. Like they wake up again, sweating and screaming and whatnot, and then Chucky takes him out for a night of Bond killing. Love this part.
Yes. So they go out. So obviously Chucky's seen Peter Peters, I think.
Escape. I think it's Peter Peters.
Has escaped in his car, and then he's realised that, oh no, we need to catch this man because he has photos of.
I don't even know if it is that. I think it's just the fact that he's a knob. Let's kill him.
Yeah, no, it probably is. To be fair. So they go chasing him. So they get in the Hummer. I think it's
like a big Jeep Hummer thing.
Yeah, I think it's Redman's, isn't it? I think it's what he turns up in. And
the scene where they're driving is gold.
So funny because obviously you see it from the shot like outside the car. You can see like this like tiny little doll with like holding on the steering wheel. So Chucky's steering and Glenn's on the accelerator. Yeah, and they're just going.
He's like,
through
Dad,
Hollywood.
I can't see.
Yeah.
And then we see this like pink little Camaro or whatever it is pull round this car, overtake him. Chucky's like this, give him the finger. Turns out it's Britney Spears. It's not really Britney Spears. And behind the scenes, they caught wind. Britney Spears' management company caught wind of this and was like, "No, well, you're not doing that."
Really?
And so in the advert, not even the film, for the advert of this film, they had to put, "This is not Britney Spears." They have to do it.
Kind of makes it better.
It's brilliant.
I mean, it's very obvious.
Yeah, and there's like a Britney song playing in the background. It's like "Hit Me Baby One More Time," done by themselves. It's so.
And she
stupid.
sort of turns around, you can blatantly see it's not her, and she's all like, giving her a thing. I think she throws something at them. Or something like
I think she does.
Yeah. So and then Chucky just fuming about it.
Yeah, just runs her off the cliff.
And then just rams her off the cliff. She goes down, everything explodes, she's gone, and just goes,
"Oops, I did it again."
Oh, it's so stupid.
It is like
so good.
It is like the lowest hanging fruit for this time, because obviously Britney Spears was pretty big here, so it was like the lowest hanging fruit.
Before she lost the plot as well, wasn't it?
It's just before, so it's such a good one. Like
so
watching
funny.
it now, it's hilarious.
It's so funny.
So we get to Peter Peters' developing room.
Yeah, dark room, red room.
Room. I think it's called a dark room. I think red room's something completely different.
Yeah, okay.
So I think it's called a dark room, something like that. But he's there and he's developing the pictures that he took at Jennifer Tilly's house, which is, I love this. I love the way it's all lit.
No, it's beautiful.
Chucky's behind him, like laughing, kind of messing with him, running around. And
stuff. So you see him in the corner. There's like this sort of like, it's almost like a doll laugh, isn't it? It's like the sort of as if you pull a string and he sort of does that. So he's in the corner, and then at this point, Glenn's underneath,
hiding underneath. Yeah. Chucky comes down, and this is a reference to a film. I don't know what film it is though. It's an old action film where someone's got a knife in their mouth. I cannot remember for the life of me. It's like Commando, Predators around there. Chucky comes down, knife in his mouth, and the camera does this great turn thing, which is really cool. His hair's all like, it's pretty funny. And he goes to stab Peter Peterson. That's the whole plan. He's going to stab him, probably in the neck. Glenn sees it coming. He's like, no, and like pushes him to save him. Does not save him. Pushes him into like this cabinet of acid.
For some reason, it's hilarious because he falls back into this, and it goes a bit slow-mo, doesn't it? Falls back into this like cabinet, and it's just like it just shoots, and it's just like sulfuric acid, and it's just like there's no reason for there to be any acid there, but it's just like they make it very blatant that he will die here.
And this is death scene.
And he sort of goes back into it. Like I said, it's like a slow-mo bit of him sort of hitting the floor, and all this acid.
He hits the floor, it goes all over him.
Just covers him, and it's like it just melts.
It's such a great effect. His face melts. It looks like Swiss cheese. It's like all holy and burned. It is such a great effect.
Really, really good.
Chucky's absolutely buzzing over that because obviously Glenn killed someone, loves it. They set up the camera and take a picture of all three of them, and Chucky's just like
Glenn's just like covered in like stuff just there. Like
it comes back to what you said earlier with Chucky being in like dad mode. He's just there.
He's like proud of his kid. He's like
it's like when they go fishing and like you got a big fish.
He's just there. This guy's all like melted to pieces, and Glenn's just there like still in shock that he's actually killed someone.
So then the next scene is Redman and Jennifer Tilly coming around, waking up, and they're kind of trying to figure out if they slept together or not.
Yeah.
And Redman talks about the way he's got with women that he'd know. He's got such a way with women.
Yeah, it's odd, isn't it?
It's so odd.
I don't really know what's going
and then
on
Tiff says she had a dream that she saw her guardian angel and she had the sweetest little voice.
Sweetest little voice. Yeah, no, that is a hilarious line.
Great.
Like,
Jennifer Tilly in this film is bloody
she's great,
excellent.
like,
Tiff is trying to get over the killing addiction. This bit is honestly, I keep saying this, but this one's comedy gold.
No, it is.
Comedy gold.
Yeah, so I think Tiff's finally, she's going along with this, like, I'm quitting murdering.
Yes,
like,
she's reading addiction books.
She's realised she's reading the addiction books.
Yeah.
She's realised she's got addiction. She's got, as I said, got an addiction book, and she's going through it saying, what are the steps to getting over it. I think the first one was admitting you have a problem.
Yes.
And she's like, well, I've done that. I've admitted I have a problem. The second one then is, it was something along the lines of ringing or get in contact with the people that you've hurt.
She calls a widow, essentially.
Yeah, so with the addiction, obviously, when it's like, say, alcohol, for example, you might ring your parents.
Yes,
so be like, look,
I'm so sorry.
I realise that I've had a problem. Blah, blah, blah. That's kind of what it's insinuated. But obviously, because you've been murdering people, she starts ringing the family.
So it
is
is such a brilliant phone call. She rings this widow and she's like, yeah, I think I murdered your husband last year.
Hello, is
this a joke?
It's just, it's so funny. Like, is this so like, was you married to this guy? She's like, yeah, I killed him last year. I'm just ringing to let you know I'm really sorry. I'm changed now. I know I had a problem, but I'm not going to kill anymore. This woman is just losing her mind.
She's screaming down the other end of the phone. It is really funny.
So funny.
We see Redman leave, and Jennifer Tilly gets in the car with Stan, who is the taxi driver, cab driver, assistant, whatever you want to call him. Yeah, and then he goes again to say, I love you, but then she starts spewing.
Yeah.
So she throws up in the car.
Yes.
We then see Redman and Jennifer Tilly are together again having dinner. I don't know why they get back together.
Before this, then, I think it's time we have a little break.
Okay. Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
Let's just have a little 5
Can
minutes.
do a break.
Yeah. Let's go to the ads, shall we?
Let's do it.
Hey, do you like dolls? Then let me introduce you to the new Chucky 2.0. It's incredible. He moves. He's got a knife in one hand. He's got a knife in the other hand. He moves around. He's ginormous. It's incredible. You'll have a killing time with him. Let's get a close-up. Wow, what a great offer. And all this for just $9.99. It's incredible. But that's not all. I've got a special surprise just for you. Introducing the new Tiffany doll. Oh my god.
Buy your Chucky doll now for just $9.99 or he may just kill you too.
Thanks for those messages.
So anyway, we see Jennifer Tilly and Redman are back together again, and I never really understood it. I don't know why they get back together. Like, why? What was the need for them to come back together?
Yeah, I don't. Really,
There's no need, unless they're discussing the role. But
yeah, I guess so. Because I think she ends up getting the role now. I think
it's never really said.
They just kind of end up back at her house. So he ends up back at her house.
Really weird
for some reason.
Yeah, so they're having dinner together. It's not even anything weird. They're just having spaghetti.
Yeah, I guess it's more to discuss the role. I would assume.
Yes.
Yeah, it's weird.
So this is the point where she finds out and then tells Redman that she's pregnant.
Yes.
I love it. We don't even get a scene really being like, "Oh my god, is she pregnant?" No, she just goes, "I'm pregnant."
I'm pregnant.
Yep, that's it.
And Redman's like, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
She's like,
good for you.
Well, it's yours, and he's like, it ain't mine.
Yeah. Because she says she hasn't slept with anyone in a year.
Yeah.
So he's like,
I have a vasectomy. It can't be mine.
Yes, that is the
He's like, I haven't.
As soon as he got to Hollywood, he got a vasectomy because he knew what he was going to be up to.
Yeah. He's like, it ain't mine.
This is the point where I clocked all she does is call him Redman. And this is the bit where she's like, Redman.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's so funny. They kind of turn into like a relationship, doesn't it? At this point,
that's what I mean. It's so bizarre.
Strange.
It is so weird. He's really rude to Jennifer Tilly, and Tiffany sees this happening, and she's like really, really angry. Yeah. And she reaches for a knife, and this bit's great as well. She reaches for the knife, but she also gets the phone to call the recovery hotline, and she's saying, I think I'm gonna have a slip. And then the guy on the other end is like, it's cool. I've had a slip before. If you need a slip, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, no, it's so good. Man.
And obviously his slip was probably like drug addiction.
So this is Tiff. Sorry. So
Yes.
Tiff is back on the phone
Yeah.
to a helpline now because she's going to. She sees the whole thing that's to do with Redman, and she's like, I want to kill this man because he's hurting my queen.
My queen.
So so she's the conversation. No, it is hilarious because as he said, he's on about like drugs or alcohol. He's like, it's alright, so slip. Sometimes you just do, and then sometimes it's okay to slip. You can just kind of have the slip, and then you recover after it. All this. And she's like, yeah. And then he's like saying things like, it can get really messy. She's like, oh yeah, you have no idea. And he's like, oh, just some of the lines.
Yeah, it's like a sitcom. Honestly, it's like an actual
hilarious.
sitcom.
Like,
yeah, so Tiffany kills Redman. She's like stabs him in the crotch.
Yeah, so there's a bit where like I think Jennifer's on the phone to somebody, isn't she? So she's speaking to someone. Joan, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jennifer's on the phone and she's sort of like ignoring him. So she goes in the kitchen and then there's a lovely shot in it where he just looks down and
Tiff's under the table,
under the glass table, under it, and it looks like she stabs him in the dick. From the first shot. The initial shot, it looks like
it's got to be lower abdomen. It has to be.
It can reveal that it is. But yeah, the initial shot, I think, is supposed to be that she's gone and stabbed him in the dick. I think is the initial.
Yeah, no,
it's supposed to be.
It's definitely an odd.
But I think she might because she cuts him again after. So I wouldn't be surprised if
she gets him there at some point,
and then slices his stomach open,
and then
just
his guts fall out.
Steaming guts.
Steaming, they are steaming. They fall out. He's there like he's kind of shaking about. Yeah, and then Jennifer Tilly comes back in. She's like, "Hey, Redman."
Drop dead.
And then he just falls and
he's like, and she's like, be quiet, I'm on the phone. And then the drop dead, and then he literally just drops and he's dead.
Yeah, and then we find out that Glenn/Glenda saw the whole thing again. They just happen to be in the room every time.
I know. So he's seen both his parents. Obviously, they both kind of gone like, we're gonna quit killing, and now he's seen them both kill. So
and then we're back in the attic. Then they're watching the news because basically the whole thing of this film is they're gonna have to wait till Jennifer Tilly has the baby.
Yes.
So they're gonna have to live in that attic for the whole time until the baby's born.
Yes.
But then Tiff says the voodoo pregnancy is accelerated.
Yes.
So we see Jennifer Tilly wake up and she's humongous.
Yeah, no, she's like 9 months pregnant.
Yes, yeah,
like just
she's
overnight.
about to.
Yeah. She's gone from being like, oh, I'm pregnant, to being like, oh, I'm having a child.
All the dolls are watching the news at this point. For some reason, what was her name? Martha Stewart is getting executed. That's what's on the news.
No, she's going. Oh yeah, she might be getting. This is when she was in jail, so she went to jail. I can't remember.
Did
exactly.
she?
Yeah, no, she.
Oh.
Did. Yeah, there's a whole thing where she.
But
ends up
in
going
this
to jail
film, they
for
say
something.
she's getting executed.
Yeah, no, I think they use the actual shots of her getting arrested, and then they've.
I never knew that. That's wild.
No, she did actually get arrested. Yeah, I can't remember what for. She did time for something, but everyone thinks she's like a badass for it. Like, but it was nothing bad.
This is the three-way phone call, which I think is a great scene. It's between Tiffany, Jennifer Tilly, and Joan.
So good.
So when you think of it logically, that's two Jennifer Tillys,
and
Joan.
Yeah, so it starts off, I think, like Jennifer's on the phone to Joan. Basically saying, I'm pregnant.
Like, and talk about Redman being a knob.
Yeah. No, because Redman's dead.
But she does...
They've hidden him.
Yes.
She doesn't find Redman.
She doesn't know. No, she just thinks Redman's gone.
Yeah.
So she's talking about
gone,
like...
Yeah, so she's obviously, from her perspective, she was talking to Redman. She said drop dead and Redman's just disappeared. So she has no idea. He's just walked out and left her.
Yes.
So she's talking to Joan, basically being like, I'm pregnant. It's Redman's child. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Because I think initially, that was the initial thing, wasn't it? Because the reason Tiff gets angry is because she goes, I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm playing the Virgin Mary, surely.
Yeah, because he says...
And then he's like, I don't want a fat Mary. Basically. He's like, I don't want a fat Mary.
That is it,
yeah. And it was like, no, but, it makes sense.
It works with the role. You can save budget here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so then they're on the phone. So they're having a conversation about Joan being pregnant. No,
not Joan. Jennifer Tilly.
Jennifer Tilly being pregnant with Joan.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, so then we've got Tiff on one line.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, she picks up another phone in the house, basically. And then...
like a three-way.
Yeah. Basically, what happens in this phone call is Chucky jumps on Jennifer Tilly.
Yes.
To take her out.
Yes.
Basically to knock her out again and kind of take her out. So he does that classic, he's on her back, legs kicking, and they run around the house. Yeah. So we see Jennifer Tilly screaming on the phone while Tiff is there going, oh no, I'm fine.
I'm watching TV, there's a thing on TV,
The line is...
Gina Gershon is fingering me.
It is so good, and that's just another reference to that film. It is genius. But yeah, that's what she said. You can hear Jennifer Tilly absolutely screaming in the background, and Tiff's like, "No, I'm just watching TV. It's fine." And Joan's like, "I'll come over." She's like, "No, you're all good.
You're all right. Don't worry about it."
It's such a.
I can literally hear you screaming. She's like, "No, that's
just
not
the TV."
Me. It's the TV.
It is such a well done scene,
no,
and this is probably the most meta they've ever been.
Yeah,
this is ridiculous,
crazy. Because obviously they sound exactly the same as well. So it's you know, from
Yeah,
Joan's
I think
perspective-
she's like a slight bit higher as Tiff.
Yes, probably,
Yeah.
yes. But like, it's obviously they're the same person. Like, so yeah, it's hilarious he and Joan sort of be like, well, what?
Yeah.
I could hear you both. I'm so confused.
Yeah, it's so good.
Great, though.
Such a great scene.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then after that we get she's tied to the bed. Chucky, and this is so weird. She's tied to the bed. She's not knocked out. She's just tied to the bed, and you just see Chucky over it with his hands going to grab her.
I know.
It's great. He's literally going. So weird.
So funny.
He's such a little
Come on,
creep.
Dan. This is pretty entertaining when you
This
say.
is so entertaining, honest to God.
Should we go see what a director thinks about this?
100%.
Should we cut over to Stefan Spaltberger?
Where are you?
Is that you? What do you think about this?
Oh, you just caught me on set of my new pretentious movie, man. I think the acting's really good on display here. Jennifer Tilly specifically, I think playing two roles, amazing. I don't think you can get much better than that. I think it's really good. I think everyone else is playing a pretty good part too. I think the whole film looks great. It feels great. I love it.
Director, back to set. Director, back to
Oh,
set.
I gotta go. Sorry, guys. But make sure you check out my new movie coming in.
So yeah, Chucky like puts tape or something over Jennifer Tilly's mouth, or a sock in it, or something like
yeah,
that.
sock, I think it is.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh no, I think that's someone else. I think Jennifer
No, I
Tilly's
think
got
no,
some.
because she spits it out. So I think they both got socks in their mouth.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then a picture of the murder of Peter Peterson falls out of Chucky's pocket.
Yeah, so Tiff walks in, sees him all like, she's like, what are you doing? And she's tamping about it, and then so this is kind of where the picture falls out. She realizes that he's gone
Murdering,
and gone, he's gone and what would be the word from not recovering from addiction?
Relapsed.
Relapse.
That's
He's
the one.
relapsed and he's killed.
Yeah.
So she's obviously like, oh, for God's sake,
Yes.
Chucky! Like, I can't believe you've done this.
This is one of where one of my issues come in with this film. I find this pacing to be bonkers because Chucky and Tiffany are not really together in this film. They're kind of off doing separate things. They're not really together.
Yeah.
And now from here, they essentially hate each other. It just flips.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Do you know what I mean?
It's a weird one, isn't it? I guess it's sort of like they're struggling to cope here.
That's what I mean. I get it. I do get it. I know where they were coming from, but I just feel like it could have been paced a little bit better, where you could have had more moments of them arguing. Because it goes from fine
it does.
to they were taking down Jennifer Tilly and Redman together to now, as we will see in a sec, they hate each other.
Yeah, they do. And I think I think it's probably along the lines of they've kind of both gone, we're quitting. Then they realise, obviously, first initially, Tiff realises Chucky's relapsed. Then we get more where Chucky realises Tiff's relapsed.
Yes.
And we sort of have this, like, argument. I guess, again,
There's...
I
when
think
you
it's
actually
supposed
think
to
it's pretty
be
deep.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be the broken home
100%.
sort of thing where they've got the child and he's stuck in the middle of his parents arguing,
Absolutely.
so kind of try to chuck everything into an hour and a half bit.
That's
really.
the issue. This is a
You
9.
know?
I think it's less than 9 minutes. I think it's like 88 minutes.
Yeah.
So we've got all that where they're trying to tell a pretty deep story
Yeah.
in the stupidest way possible.
Yeah, no, of
but I just think there are times where
I
they
get
could
what
have
you mean, though.
added more
Yeah.
because it's like such a mad moment where this bit on they don't like each other and you know do you know what I mean? But yeah, so she finds the picture, she's really fuming. They argue about Glenda's gender again.
Yes.
That comes back into it. So yeah, this bit is really, really ahead of his times now. So after that scene, we then get Glenda saying that sometimes they feel like a boy, sometimes they feel like a girl.
Yeah.
So it's gender fluidity.
It is gender
Which is-
fluidity, that's the word I'm
Yeah,
looking
and
for, yes.
I know I've mentioned the TV show now about a million times, but in the TV show they pick that up more.
Yeah, and I guess especially it being out now,
Because there's a
it kind
great
of-
scene in season 1 where the main character is gay. So Jake in the TV show, he's gay.
Okay.
And he gets Chucky, and Chucky comes alive, and he talks about his son, which is a spoiler to anyone who hasn't seen Chucky. But he goes, I've got a son too, he's gender fluid, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It's good that they keep picking that up.
Yeah, it's probably mad for them though to obviously have this story so long ago and then be able to pick this up, because what was the first series, like a year or two ago?
Ooh, his first season was
3 years ago,
lockdown?
maybe?
Just after lockdown?
Oh, well, there we are.
Yeah.
So it's obviously as it was sort of becoming more aware of gender fluidity. So
Yeah.
I think, like, it probably, if anything, they were probably like happy about
It was
this.
probably a win for them,
Yeah,
100%,
it
because
was
I
a win
said-
for them because they've done it for so long ago that it's not. I think with people doing it now, it can sometimes feel a bit forced. Whereas with this, because it's part of the story anyway,
Yeah.
you can kind of bring it in without being like, oh look, we're adding.
Yeah,
things,
and I mean,
we're doing it for the sake of
you know,
having
for
someone who's gender fluid.
the gay creator as well. It's a very important part
Yeah,
for them
no,
as well. Like
100%.
you can't help but feel very proud for him for
No,
the way what they
it's,
did.
It's incredible.
No,
it is incredible.
It is
It's-
great.
as you said, as silly as this film is, like the things that they do in this film are crazy.
The important topics are very
Incredible.
important. It's very
really,
good.
really good.
So yeah, we see Redman falls out of a closet dead.
Yes.
And then Chucky and Tiff argue with the fact that they're both killing again.
Yeah,
so
he's just like, what's this?
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, it's hilarious. They open. Cause I think he's just like, we've all got secrets in a closet.
Bang,
Hammers the
yeah.
closet, opens up. Redman falls. Says, what the hell is this? Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, and this is kind of where we notice that anytime something happens between like Chucky and Tiff, they're arguing.
Yeah.
Glenn's like this.
Yeah,
There's a little twitch.
he's got like it's throughout the film you see it sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got this sort of like weird.
It's like
going
a
on,
real
like-
just like this.
Yeah, so good.
It is. It looks scary though.
Yeah, no, it does.
So Redman's dead, which means Chucky doesn't have a body to go into.
Yes.
So Tiff calls Stan, the driver,
Stan,
and basically is like, "I love you. Come
Yeah,
over."
yeah.
We'll
Obviously,
be-
pretend to be Jennifer.
Yeah. So that will be Chucky's body. What a
Yeah.
loser body for Chucky.
Yeah, I know. I
Hate
know.
that.
If anything, though, it's a better boy to have than being Redman and trying to kill people.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? 'Cause it's
Stan's such a
yeah,
boring
I
man.
know,
Do
he's
you know what I
just
mean?
kind of there, but
He
yeah,
is
we
ju-
just cut that he's just there.
Yeah,
they
so
just
yeah.
got him. So they're both tied up in bed together. They both got like the sock in their mouth, sort of thing. And yeah, they're both going to be. They're basically going to hope that the babies come out, and then they're both going to take over all the bodies at once.
Yeah. So Joan arrives at Tilly's house, and Chucky says he'll take care of her.
Yeah.
Joan climbs up the stairs. This bit is kind of bonkers. Finds Jennifer Tilly and the driver, and then we see a doll.
Yeah. So it's a point of view shot again, isn't it? So we're looking from the doll's perspective, and it's the I've seen this in so many horror films now. It's the lighter.
Well, we covered this on Banana Splits.
Yeah. It's such a a classic horror kill.
Burns her, and then she goes flying off the stairs.
Molten.
A reference to the beginning, obviously, with the dad flying off the stairs.
Yes, of
He
course
goes.
it is.
She goes
Yeah.
flying
Great
downstairs.
death. Great death.
Probably my favourite. if I'm
Probably
honest.
yes.
And I love what comes after this.
Oh
so
my
this
God,
bit
crazy.
is bizarre.
Yeah.
Chucky thinks that's Tiff.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Oh, nice one. You know, well
Yeah,
done."
yeah.
Turns out it's Glenda. So
Glenda.
not Glenn.
No.
Glenn's gone
So
for a
yeah,
minute.
so Tiff's obviously been referring to Glenn as Glenda throughout, but he's always been Glenn.
Yes.
Till this point, he's always been Glenn.
He references he feels like both at times.
but he's been Glenn.
Yes.
And now he's basically dressed as Tiff, and he is calling himself Glenda.
How do you feel about Glenda as a character here? Because this is make or break, I think. For someone who's never seen this film, this is make or break.
Yes, it is. It's.
So let's just go talk about some of the lines he says, right? This is it. So Chucky goes, Tiff? And he goes, guess again, Daddy? This is the voice he puts on the whole time.
But it's almost the same voice as the child from the start.
Yeah.
It's obviously not the same voice, but he's using that accent.
And then he kills Joan and he goes, I just fired Joan. Honestly, I had to write them all down. And then he goes, I'm a real lady killer.
I mean, you know, if at this point you watch this film and you're going to go, Glenda, that's too far for me, then you're
I think it's
you're
more
wrong.
the absolute whiplash of
But-
Billy Boyd's performance.
Yeah, I do love it. I love the fact that Glenn's such a wholesome little boy who ends up killing almost an accident. I don't know if they're going to go with this in the series where Glenn's more of like the accidental, like, oh my god, I can't believe I've done this, and then Glenda is a complete psychopath.
Yes.
And I kind of like that because it's almost similar to Tiff and Chucky, where Chucky's more of like the just killing, the same killing, whereas Tiff's more, she kills people who kind of deserve it more. She's more like, she still kills, but it's more like, you know, she's nicer about it in a way.
Yes.
I mean, if somebody's a dick, she'll kill them because they're bad people.
That was
Chucky
what
will
Tiffany
just murder.
Valentine was doing as a
Yeah,
human as well,
whereas
yeah.
like Chucky just kills, so it's almost
he's just a
that-
serial killer,
Yeah, it's almost that sort of thing where Glenn's, and it's kind of like weird how Glenn's more like Tiff, and then Glenda is more like Chucky. But obviously Tiff wants
It's a
Glenda.
great- it's a great
it's like a complete
switch.
opposite thing. But yeah, it's mental. But I mean, it's this film.
It's
again, as I mean, if you watch this film and at this point you go, that's too far, you watch the wrong film.
I completely
You know
agree with you. Yeah, I do. I just the quotes are just incredible.
Oh,
I got
so
one
funny.
more. Stop it, mummy! You'll wrinkle my dress. I love this part. It's probably my favorite part of the whole film.
Oh, it is so good.
Tiffany slaps Glenda and they come back around.
Yeah, so yeah, they sort of like have an argument, don't they? And then yeah, Tiff just cracks.
Yeah, like a proper
cracks
good
Glenda.
slap.
And then yeah, she sort of comes back to Glenn and she's like, "Oh, mummy, what have I done?
Yeah,
oh my
yeah.
god, I can't believe I've done this." Yeah.
So Jennifer Tilly has now given birth.
Yes.
I do like this part.
Yeah.
Jennifer Tilly's given birth, and this is going to be Glenda's new body.
Yes, so it's
So
a
we think.
boy.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a boy.
So yeah, a boy's born.
Yeah.
And then,
And then Chucky's like, yeah, my boy.
And then I think it's Tiff Tiffany goes, "We're not done yet," and then you see another one come out, and it's a girl, which I think is a very good little twist for what they were doing with Glenn. It's very good.
So they're going to try and figure out now basically so they can have Glenn and Glenda. So I think at this point trying to figure out what body to put Glenn/Glenda in.
This is where the franchise got silly with how they were just putting souls into bodies.
Yeah, no.
As we go on this franchise, this gets ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I bet it does.
But yeah, as I noted here again, the animatronics and the puppetry is awesome.
Oh, no,
they look incredible. The way they move in this film is like bonkers.
The female child, terrifying.
I can't remember.
Oh, it looks like an alien. Bless
Oh,
him.
really?
Oh, really.
We've had a lot of ugly babies in this
odd-looking child. It is
Yeah.
like the one baby, like obviously babies are odd-looking. They're all looking the same,
Yeah.
but no, really like. I don't know if it was CGI or if they're like
I didn't even know
children, but no, I was looked at it, I was a bit like, ooh, the girl looks somewhere
wrong.
Yeah.
So they're about to transfer souls into the human bodies. Everyone's like screaming. It's like a mad.
So they're like, quick, Chucky, quick! So they're getting Chucky. So Chucky's going to do it, isn't he? And like, you've got Tiffany just screaming, being like, do it, like we got to do it now. We got the children, and it's like there's so much going on, and Chucky's like. Stop.
He just screams. He's like, stop. And this part, again, was a real polarizing moment for fans. I love it. Love this part. Yes, because the whole plot of Child's Play Chucky is he needs a human host.
Yeah.
This is the first time Chucky says, no, I just want to be a doll.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense, though, because what is it, fifth film?
This is the 5th film.
We're on 5 films, and at this point he's tried so many times to get a human body. He's got to a point where he's now got a child, he's got a wife, he's got all these things going on as a doll, and he's lived his entire life as a doll. So at this point, what is the point?
I love the fact that he just wants to be a doll. That's my favorite thing ever, because can you imagine a franchise where he was a human?
Well, it's basically, his logic even makes sense, because he's basically saying, look, I could be a human and I could go around killing people.
I'm infamous as a doll. Yeah.
That's basically his whole point. Is like, I could be humans and I could like kill as humans, but then nobody remember that. Like as a doll, everyone knows who I am. Like I am more famous as a doll killing people than I was. Do you know what I mean? I've got my own TV show and I'm a doll.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So it makes perfect sense.
I love it. I love the fact that they do this storyline. But people were annoyed about this because obviously the whole franchise is about him needing to be a human.
Yeah, but I think if this happened in like the second film, I'd be a bit more like,
ooh, what? Yeah,
but
5 films.
If 5 films in, and as I said, at this point, he's tried so many different times to take over.
And like now, just going forward, he's just a killer.
Yeah,
that's
it's
Chucky
just
now.
like I don't care anymore.
Yeah. So where am I? Yeah. So Tiffany still wants to be Jennifer Tilly, though. Yeah. That's the whole thing. Yeah. She wants to be Jennifer Tilly.
Hollywood lifestyle,
yes, she wants to be a star. She wants to be Jennifer Tilly. That's it.
Yeah,
Nothing else.
Yeah, no, she does. Yeah.
It is weird. Tiffany says she's leaving him and taking the child.
Yeah.
Chucky says no one leaves me.
Yeah.
And stabs Stan.
Yes.
Yeah, which is just random.
Yeah,
I don't know why he stabbed him. It's very weird.
No. Chucky throws the knife at her, and Stan jumps up and gets hit by it.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, because Chucky gets sick and he's just like, no one leaves me. Throws a knife and then Stan ends up getting.
Oh, is he going to kill Jennifer Tilly?
I think he's going to kill Jennifer. So he throws a knife at her and then Stan gets up and it hits him in the chest.
Right.
And then that's when he gets the whole bit.
Stan, what are you saying?
Yeah. So the whole joke is he never gets to say I love you.
Yeah, that is it.
And he's dead.
So cops come into the house, see all the bodies and Tilly tied up, and then we see Jennifer Tilly in the hospital when she wants her kids, which is pretty normal.
Yeah,
she wants her children. She's just giving birth. Tiffany poisons the IV, and Jennifer Tilly gets knocked out again for about the 4th time in this film.
Yeah, so she's like drugs it, doesn't she? She doesn't.
Yeah,
she sort of drugs it to knock her out. So she's gonna try and do the whole transformation thing, the taking over the souls now in there, so she can do it there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we go to see Tiffany doing the Damballa chant to transfer souls, and then we see the door, the Shining reference.
I love it though.
Yeah, Chucky hacking into the door, he gets in, and then he's gonna do the moment.
He's like, I feel like I should say something here. Yeah.
Yeah, his line is literally, I can't think of a thing to say, and then that's it.
So good.
Yeah, no, it is for a reference to the Shining that's been done a million times. Yeah, it's a nice little change. It's kind of
funny they didn't just try and add like a Chucky version of it.
Yeah, it's a nice little change. Yeah. So Tiff starts the chant of Damballa, and she does finish. She finishes the chant, and then as she finishes the last line, Chucky puts an axe in her head, killing Tiffany. Blood starts pouring down.
Dead.
Tiff is dead now. That's Tiffany doll gone.
Tiffany doll gone.
Glenn slash Glenda is very upset with this.
Get more of the eye twitching.
Yeah, eye twitch, Japanese talking then as well.
I love
and
it.
then this whole scene, I've always been conflicted.
Oh, really? I love this.
It fits the tone of the film.
He does, like, I think he speaks Japanese. He does a konnichiwa or something like that. But he does another Japanese reference, and then we get the like it turns into like it just turns.
The film
into,
goes like widescreen.
Kurosawa.
Yeah,
it literally turns into like a Kurosawa film. I love it.
He just starts ninja attacking Chucky.
Yeah, he just sort of goes. Whoa.
He does a flying kick at
We
him.
get like, he does a flying kick. Then we get like a proper Matrix sort of like flip. Don't we? So he does like a flip over Chucky.
Yeah. And I think maybe that's why I'm not massive. I'm not massive on the Matrix, so I think that
fair. No,
and that's such an unpopular opinion.
No, I'm not. It's alright.
I just don't really care.
No, they're alright. Like,
So
they're pretty fun. But yeah, no, I think they've just been referenced to hell.
Oh, I think that's the issue.
Especially the sort of like the slow mo, like jumping sort of like. Yeah.
So yeah, they have this ninja fight in like mild slow motion. Chucky's not really doing much.
It's barely though, isn't he? Like he throws a fly.
I definitely thought this was longer.
Yeah,
when I rewatched it this time, I was like, it's only like
it's
literally 10 seconds.
Yeah. It's really, really short.
Yeah, he kind of does the kick over him, does that. It's one of those scenes that I hate it, but I love it at the same time. I'm so conflicted.
I think it's short enough that you can kind of just be like, that's fine.
Yeah,
you know
it is just bizarre. Yeah. So Glenn cuts off all of Chucky's limbs basically with the axe.
I was like, what did he do?
And he's Glenn at this point.
Yes,
but I think he's more doing it because he killed Mum.
Yeah. So it's more like, because Glenn and Glenda are the same person, so Glenda's always there. But I think, this is the first time where Glenn intently kills. But again, this is kind of what Tiff does.
Yes.
So this is kind of his version of being like, it's justified in killing because Chucky's a bad person who's killed his mother.
Yes.
So again, I think that's what they've kind of gone with the Tiff thing, where Glenn is more like Tiff.
Yeah.
But yeah, he chops him to pieces.
Chops all his limbs off, arms and legs.
And then chops his head
and then, first, Chucky says, "Attaboy, kid. Attaboy."
So
and then,
good.
he takes Chucky's head clean off.
He's just so proud of him, and I love the fact that he's so proud of him.
This is one of the gorier Chucky kills, because obviously in every film he obviously dies. But this is, I'd say the gorier one would be Child's Play 3 with the giant fans. And he just falls in blood everywhere. Love that scene. But yeah, this is one of the nastier ones. This is good. This is a good one.
But I love the fact that Chucky, because obviously usually Chucky's all like, no. Whereas this time,
he
his son
accepts
doing it. He's like, look what I've done. Like, it's almost in his mind, he's like, I've created the killer. Like, I've done.
And I said, going forward in the franchise, he has nothing but respect for his child, which is great. I love that. So then we see 5 years later, and we see Glenn as a real child, and we see Glenda as a real child.
Yeah,
so Glenn, there's like a maid, isn't there, in the house, and she's like a Spanish maid. Oh, Spanish? Or maybe she's Romanian?
Yeah, maybe.
They could be Romanian. But yeah, she's basically saying, Glenn's an angel, Glenn's a lovely kid, I love looking after Glenn, but Glenda is horrible. Yeah. She gives me this look, she's evil, and she's horrible.
Just see it, like, so she's got this, like, they've got this, like, massive, like, ginger like,
fro.
It's huge, isn't it, here? And she's just sitting in the window, just staring at it the entire time, like. And then, so Jennifer's sort of like, she's got the Tiff doll, so she kept the doll.
Yes, it's got the scar on its head.
Yeah, so she's still got the doll, and she's sort of a bit like, well,
that's my
if
child.
If you don't like it, if you don't like it, then I best guess you're fired. Like, we'll sort of figure it out around you.
So then we see Tiff pick up the doll, and she just smacks her with the maid with the doll. She absolutely clocks her with it, and then she just keeps doing it, and she kills her. Jennifer Tilly's eyes change colour, proves it's Tiff in the body. The chant worked. She's here.
Glenda loves it.
Yeah, Glenda
watches the whole thing and it just sort of like smiles at him.
And then they do the together. They kind of do that together, as in like to keep it a secret. And then you see human Glenn is holding the picture of the murder, which is so weird.
It's so weird.
Yeah,
like, are the children brought back?
Yes,
but
not as kids.
Okay, because they're odd looking.
Yeah, they change.
Obviously, she's like they both. You can tell they're both just like children that put like really bad wigs on.
Yes.
So it's like Glenda's got this mass of like ginger hair, but it's so obviously a wig.
Fake, yeah.
And then the boy's just got this like tuft. It's almost similar to Glenn's hair.
Yeah.
Where it's just this big tuft of ginger hair.
Yes.
And he's like, so we're kind of having like an inner monologue of.
Yeah,
Glenn.
he's kind of narrating this scene, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then there's a present for him from an unknown sender.
Yeah.
And then he opens the present and it's Chucky's arm. So Glenn pisses himself again. Starts doing the eye twitch, but as a real kid, it is disturbing.
Really
it's like full going, and then the arm grabs him. Chucky laughs in the background. The end. Which is just It is bonkers.
Oh, it's mad. It's one of those that kind of almost ends like 3 times. Like, you see the initial ending where
they could have ended it where he kills Chucky.
Yeah, because it's sort of like you don't expect the hospital scene. So you have the bed scene,
absolutely,
and then you're like, okay, that's the end. And then you have the hospital scene. You're like, okay, that's the end.
It's like
and then you have like the real life scene. You're like, right, okay, now this is the end.
I was waiting for a post credit scene. I was like,
I know,
but it is an odd one. So let's get into some categories and let's discuss some things.
Let's do this.
Okay, we'll start with acting, which I think the Chucky acting, Brad Dourif, is always great. It's always great.
It is great.
He's one of my favourite voice actors ever. Okay. I think Jennifer Tilly doing 2 roles is always amazing. But I think here it shines specifically because I think she can like differentiate being a voice actor and being an actress, which I think is really good. Yeah. Billy Boyd is a weird one because as much as I love his performance as Glenn, it's almost one of those ones I love because I saw it when I was younger and it was so silly that I'm just like, I love it. Yeah. But when you really break it down, it's very annoying. He is. I think Glenn is annoying, but I love him. It's one of those. But his voice, I don't know what he's doing. This like over performance of being like really British. I mean, when you think of him in even like Lord of the Rings, he's pretty odd in Lord of the Rings, to be fair. So I think he's just one of those actors. Yeah. But he's someone I love. Whenever I see Billy Boyd attached to something, I'm like, I'm watching it. I love him. Yeah. So I think he's great. I think everyone plays their part pretty well here. I don't think there's a bad performance, but there's nothing out of the ordinary. There's nothing extraordinary about this acting. Do you know what I mean? It's just a good horror film acting. Do you know what I mean? It's very good. Redman, surprisingly funny. I think the comedy timing in this film is good. This film is very funny. So I think the way they've done that is good. Yeah, I think my only real, not even complaint, I think it is Billy Boyd. It's just someone I'm a bit torn on.
Interesting.
Because going forward in the franchise, we don't really get him. He does come back. He does come back. And I think in the next season, he's going to be more prominent. Okay. But so far, we've had one scene since this film with him. Yeah. But I want to see more. So I think that's the thing. I do love him. He kind of annoys me, but I want to see more. Okay. But acting-wise in this film, I'll go 8.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's very good.
It's pretty average, but I'll go 8.
But that's what I mean. It's like average for this sort of film, but it's good acting. Yeah. And I think Jennifer Tilly, Redman, all the comedic stuff elevates it. And I think obviously Brad Dourif is just great.
Yeah, no, I agree mostly. I think I'd love I think we said it, I love the sort of family dynamic. I think it worked as well as much as we kind of you can complain slightly about the sort of rushing of things.
Yes.
I think it kind of worked. Considering this is an hour and a half, it got enough in so you knew the story. Yeah. It kind of hit enough beats that you were sort of like, okay, I can kind of see what they're going with here. I completely agree with the whole Jennifer Tilly / Tiff thing where you can kind of see she does 2 different performances of the same person.
It is different.
It's really it's kind of genius in a way, isn't it? Where you can there is a distinct difference between the 2 people, but you can almost you can kind of see that they're the same person as well. It's really good. I think I'm a bit different to you, whereas I watched this for the first time last year.
Yeah, because I remember us talking about it, and I think you'd only seen.
I don't think I'd seen them. I think I might have seen like 1 or 2 like bits, but I don't
think because this is where you were going through horror franchises.
So I was watching this, and I think initially I completely agree with you when I was with Glenn. I think when it first happened, I was a bit like,
especially with someone like you watching the whole franchise start to finish, which you've never seen. It's whiplash.
It's jarring. It's really jarring. But watching it back, I love it.
Fair.
I do. Yeah. Like I think it works because it's so silly, and again, like I found myself laughing at the lines. Glenn, I think Glenn and Glenda have the best lines in this film. You know, and I think the stupid over the top British accent helps. Yeah. And obviously, there is a lot of stupid over the top British accents throughout.
It's really weird.
But yeah, I think I completely agree with you. I think everyone generally does a pretty stellar job. So yeah, I agree. 8 out of 10.
Nice. Yeah. I think that's really fair for this.
No, it is.
Film.
Yeah.
So we'll go effects, and I think automatically this film gets my highest grade because the puppets, the animatronics, the way they've done it. I think this is probably my favourite time they've ever done it, and I love. Going forward, what's next? Curse of Chucky is the next film. And I love what they do with that, but they incorporate some CGI. Yes. And it's because it was straight to DVD and it didn't get a theatrical release, so the budget was tiny. Okay. So what they've done is it's very good for what they've done, but it is noticeable. Okay. Whereas this, it just looks incredible. You get that one scene with Glenn running, which is really silly, but it does add to it.
Yeah, it makes it again, because if it was like Chucky, you might frown on it a bit more, but because it's Glenn, it works.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah. But I think effects-wise, this is amazing. I've always loved what they do with the puppets and the dolls and stuff, but this is awesome. So yeah, 10. No. 10. It's a 10. It's got to be a 10. It has to be.
Yeah. I can't really disagree with most of it. To be fair, like it was. I think that the biggest thing, especially with effects, is if you notice them. If you're watching a film and throughout the film you never once look and go, "Ooh, that's creepy."
And I find me and you are quite different on this. There's films that I've said I've noticed the effects where you haven't, and there's films that you've noticed the effects where I haven't.
Yeah. So I think like throughout it again, like I think I completely agree with the dolls where they felt alive throughout this. Like it felt incredible. Like the entire time when they were
I can see why I was scared of them as a kid.
Yeah, but the entire time when they're having conversation between themselves or having a conversation with humans, like I've never watched that and went like, ooh, you can kind of see that they weren't there. Do you know what I mean? Like it felt unnatural. It felt completely natural throughout it. I think even the deaths are great. Like,
I didn't even touch on those. They're great.
The beheading is great. Like I think the only thing is a bit slightly iffy is initially when he's getting burnt.
Yes.
From the acid, but then like the effect after it kind of.
You've also got to remember, like this is 2004.
No, exactly. And I mean, it's like a 30-second shot where you're a bit like ooh, but then again, like
I think it's more the slow mo, isn't it? Because he's kind of doing a lot of this. Yeah.
But then, as I said, the effect after is great. Like, I think all the guts, everything. Yeah, I think I'll go 9.
9.
You know, I'll go 9. I'm not just gonna copy you for everything.
Don't do that.
But I completely agree.
So music is an odd one because this film didn't really have any music to note. Unfortunately, the score isn't great. I like the open and intro score where the sperm cells are kind of like that, and I guess the little Britney Spears song is kind of cheesy and silly, but this isn't one you're going to notice for the music at all. I'm struggling to think of where I'd place it. Probably 4. Yeah. Just for the little bits of score, you get a pretty good.
Yeah, there isn't really much to speak about when it comes to music. Obviously, it's like typical horror sort of film where you'll have like the score increases as like people things happen are happening and stuff. But there was nothing. I never noticed it. So I'll go in the middle, just go to 5 because it was something where I might listen if I might like go back and actually listen for it. I might be a bit like, okay, it's not so bad, but again at the time I didn't really. It's a
bit of a running theme with horrors for us, isn't it? Like the music score just goes nowhere.
Yeah, it's just sort of there. So I'll go just middle of the road. I'll go 5.
Okay, so entertainment with this film. I mean, I think we're both pretty clear on this. This is such an entertaining film, and I think now I look at it and I think this is the most entertaining of the franchise because you get the horror films, you get the stupid films, or you get somewhere in between. I think Bride of Chucky comes pretty close for being that entertaining.
Yes,
and I love Child's Play 2, which is my favorite one, but I think this is the most entertaining. one. And I like the fact that they go away from the Andy storyline. They do their own thing here. Yeah. You don't need constant reminding that Andy's a thing. Yeah. This goes for its own thing. And I think in that aspect it works perfectly. They touch on really important things that is brilliant to see in 2004, which is awesome to see. I just love the storyline of this film, and it's ridiculous. Not watching this one to be serious, but I think entertainment-wise, never bored, always entertained. The amount of quotes I wrote down just because I was having a great time. It's 10. It's 10. It's 10.
Yes, it is. I mean, I'll give it now. It is a 10. Like it is 10. You know, it's one of those films that absolutely flies by.
I was watching it and it was gone,
and
I was
just finished. You thinking like, I want to watch this again. Like, and I think going through it, I think I probably changed watching it back. I think not watching them in order and going back and just watching this as a standalone film. Again, as we touched upon, I think it's so mental. This is such a stupid film, but so far ahead of its time. 100%. It's bizarre, isn't it? Yeah. The whole concept of this is bizarre. That this is a film that, as I said earlier, if it was dropped in 2024, would be huge.
It would be huge.
You know, like people.
This would have the biggest following now.
It's crazy, and it's crazy to think this is in 2004 and it's so relevant now, which is just bizarre. But it's so entertaining. As I said, the deaths are so good, the family dynamic is so good. Jennifer Tilly and Tiff, like that whole sort of dynamic relationship sort of thing is so good, and it's so simple, really. If you think about this, we've got like a little bit of movie set, then we're in a house, and that's pretty much it. We'll have the odd little bit here and there, but it's pretty much mainly
very simple, very
in a house
straightforward,
or in the movie production set. Most of this film, and yet I was entertained for the entire time. So I completely agree. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. No, it's great. And I said, what I liked the most is that this film, when it came out, was very much like, wrong step, wrong move. So they moved back to horror with the next two, which I love. I do love the next two. But now with the TV show, they've picked this back up, and they're following a very similar storyline and picking characters back up, and I love it. Because when me and my brother were watching it, we were like, please bring back certain characters.
I think if you think of when it was when we came out back in 2004, it was a complete different time. When you think of the fact that it's obviously mentioned the fact that people like Jennifer Tilly, you're the one who's in that lesbian scene.
Yeah.
That's like a big thing because there was a female actor who had a scene with another woman.
Actor, yeah.
And it's like, oh my God. So
mind blowing.
That's mind blowing.
Yeah.
You can imagine that people back then watching this would be like, this is awful.
This is not it. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because we were very close minded back then.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
So overall for Seed of Chucky, I mean, it's again pretty obvious. I think this is one of my favorite films we've covered so far.
Yeah.
This is one of those films where I had no problem watching. I had to remember I'm taking notes because I've seen this film a good 6 or 7 times. I've seen it so many times, but it's one of those films that never gets old. I said the worst time I ever watched it was probably the first time because I had no idea what it was, but now that I've watched all the franchise, I know exactly where they go with it. I think it's just perfect. It's so stupid, so dumb, but that's kind of the point, and it works. But they do the stupid with serious stuff so well. One of the best I've seen, and in this type of film, I think they do it perfectly. I know I gave music a bit of a knock, but it's 10. It was 10.
You're going 10.
10.
You're giving it a 10. This is your first 10.
This is my first 10 overall. Wow. It's just one of those films. It's just so good. I just love it, and I know it's probably more biased because I love horror stuff, and they're everywhere. Yeah. But I love this franchise, and this is such a departure, but in such a good way. This could have easily been just a spin-off, and it would have been perfect. Yeah. I love it. I love it.
God, wow! I did not expect.
Get out of here, Street Fighter.
No. I mean, I overall, I think I agree. I'm not gonna go 10 personally because I love this film, and I think if this was something that maybe over time where I watch it more regularly, I might become more of like a thing to be like, oh my God, no, I can actually see this as being amazing. But yeah, I think because the first time I went into it, I didn't dislike it. I was just a bit like it was too far that way, and I think going back to it, it's gone the complete opposite way. So I think whereas before I would have been like probably like a 5-ish, whereas now I'm more close to a 9. So I think I'll probably go for like an 8, because I really enjoyed it, but I think like from the initial thing of being like going into it, I was a bit sort of
it is complete. Yeah, it is such a departure. As I said, the biggest thing I can say about this film is it's such a departure.
Yeah, I'll go for an 8. But I think the one good thing about this film is, as much as we're supposed to be covering bad films, this is not a bad film.
No,
it is rating wise, like as in like it got a little bit panned. It's more middle of the road sort of film. Yeah. But this is not a bad film. At no point was I watching this being like, ooh.
No, and I said this is probably one of the easier ones we've covered to get through. I mean, this is easy.
Yeah, it's almost like you can't really say it's so good. It's so bad that it's good. No, because it's just a good film. This is why I'm not like sort of going.
I think it was taken the wrong way it came out. Yeah, but I think when you look at it, it's a good film.
Yeah. So it's difficult to be like you can't really rate this as a so good it's bad, or as a bad film, because it is just a good film.
It is.
I'll go 8 out of 10.
Nice. Okay. Cool. So that was our disaster debate on Seed of Chucky. I don't really know if you can call it disaster debate. No. We got
just fun debate.
Fun debate. No, I love this film. It's my first 10, so that's good. You still had a great time with it anyway. So tell people, where can they find us?
So we are at The Feature Fellas. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. We are on Twitter. We are on TikTok. You can like the video. You can share the video.
Share with your friends and family.
Yep. Subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment. What would you like the comment to be, Mr. Chucky fan?
Mr. Chucky fan. So, if anyone's watching the TV show, it comes back next week or the week after, I believe. And this is part 2 of season 3, which I think is really stupid.
This might be like the week before, by the way, just before.
Yes. This might be the week after.
The week before. It's around this time.
Yes, it is around. So the Chucky season has come out, or is coming out around this time. Forgot about that. How do you feel about it? Because it's part 2 of season 3, which I hate that they're doing this now. It's really annoying me. Did it with Invincible. I reckon they'll do it with The Boys too. But yes, season 3, part 2 comes out. It looks outrageous. Spoilers, but Chucky is old in this show. Yeah. So I really want to know what they're going to do with it. Are you excited for this next part of the season? Because I can't wait. I am so excited. I wasn't a massive fan of part 1, but I think part 2 is really going to pick it up.
I'm definitely going to. I think once this comes out, I'm going to have to catch up on the series.
Please.
I haven't watched it yet, so I'm going to.
It is great. It is great. So yeah, let us know how excited you are, or if not excited about it, just let us know.
Okay.
Awesome. And we will see you next time.
You stay classy, motherfucker.